Everybody, welcome back inside the stash yet again. Yeah, it is that time to take another trip through a recent box that showed up here from Hobbylink Japan. Everything I had sitting over there pretty much for May and June. I shipped out, came in a few days ago, picked up a couple of things for some domestic kits as well, and so I think there'll be something of interest for most everybody here. So we're going to spin the camera around and we'll take a look. All right, guys, so we got a couple of parts here for one of the Mobius kits, and then we'll go from there. So we picked up from Fireball models, and this stuff, by the way, guys, it just looks absolutely phenomenal. His two different upgrade sets for the Mobius 1970 Ford 4x4. These are the parts you basically need to convert it into the F-250 that is on the box. And a lot of people will recall the controversy, as it were, as the British will call it, about the fact that the box art shows an F-250, almost a highboy type 4x4, whereas the actual box contents are a four-wheel drive truck, but they are an F100 that is a very sedate, not at all jacked up type of vehicle. So this is the secondary one. You have to have the other one to use this one, because this one just replaces a few pieces and parts, makes it a little more detailed. This is basically as a spare tire with an actual like tire. I don't know what exactly Joseph cast these out of, but they're squishy, rubbery kind of material, like a kit tire. And then you have this pile of parts down here, which are all sort of odds and ends. With it being this right here is an oil pan, so you're looking at the part that will go into the engine block. But there's a corrected oil pan for the F250, corrected 4-speed transmission for the F250, a corrected half shaft for the F250, and then these sort of grayish clear parts are 3D printed parts, and they are a new transmission cross member and new engine mounts, as well as the spare tire mount. And basically what this does is it takes the kit engine and moves it to where it's supposed to be sitting in the engine bay. You don't have to use this. This is a little extra, basically. It's like $10. So I figured for $10, even if I don't ever use it, even if it's just, just for giggles, as it were, it was a reasonable amount of money for what you get here. And then the main set that you get is this one. This is the $30 one. What you get here is just a lot of stuff when it comes right down to it. You get obviously 4 replacement wheels and tires. These ones have the locking hub mechanism for the front. You get new leaf springs and front differential. You get new leaf springs and rear differential. There are yokes. There are half shafts. There is like piano wire for the tie rod. There's a whole bunch of stuff that's all wrapped in this plastic. I'm going to take it out for you. And a good search on pretty much any modeling forum will show you what all the parts are. But you get a lot of stuff here for $30. And again, these are just some really, really great looking wheels. Again, the tires are squishy, rubbery material. It's not hard resin. And just even the parts you can see there, it's brake discs, or brake drums rather, for the rear brakes and stuff like that. One of the things about these 3D parts and the resin parts here is it does replace the issue with the model kit itself, which is the fact that the four-wheel drive kit, the kit parts, are a Dana 60 front axle and like this weirdly oversized 9-inch rear axle, which are not at all what a real 1970 4x4 would have had, regardless as to whether it was a 250 or a 150. But yeah, so those are in. That's fantastic. Really great service from Joseph. First time I ordered from Fireball. Of course, I've seen his stuff around, top-notch resin stuff, and I think he quoted me 3 weeks when I put the order in, but I don't think it took that long. I'm pretty sure it didn't, but I'd have to actually look. But it came. Let's put it to you this way: it showed up faster than I thought it would. So that's always a good thing for a resin person. So you see this lurking in the background, right? It's too big to put on the table. It's just such a big box. But this is the Autocar A64B tractor. Don't buy a whole heck of a lot of trucks. You guys know that. It's sort of the old joke about contractor's wife. When you contractor's wife is always one person who never gets any work done on their house, right? So after driving trucks all day long, I really don't want to play with trucks at night. I know this is probably like terribly offensive to the truck guys out there, but It just is what it is. But I really always love this auto car style. Actually, the Peterbilts and everything had these rounded front fenders and stuff like that. So I was very happy to see they were going to reissue this. Of course, the dump truck is going to be coming out in a couple of days by the time you guys see this. So it's just cool to have. I'm happy to have this one back. You know, look on the back here for you guys who want to see what the parts look like. Obviously I haven't unsealed it, taken apart to look at it yet, but you get a little bit of, I think, some rubber tubing for the airlines and stuff like that. That's always nice. So one of these days I'm going to take this apart and look at it, or open it and look at it. But it's just easier for the pre-show stuff to have it, just hanging out. So one kit that showed up through Hobby Search. Still need to figure out where my camera needs to be here. There we go. I'd ordered this in a resin kit. The resin kit has actually just will have just got shipped by the time you see this. They were supposed to come in the same box, but the resin kit didn't come out in time. And Hobby Search, for people who don't know, will let you combine shipping on orders that arrive in the same month. AKA, you got 4 things that are coming out, going to be ordering and showing up in July. They will hold your order until the end of July, and then you have to pay for it, and it ships. Well, I had this and this resin kit coming, and both were supposed to be in June. And I had selected the trackable fast mode of shipping because I didn't want this $75, $80 resin kit being untrackable through the slow shipping methods. And don't you know, the resin kit didn't come in, but this did. And so I ended up shipping this by itself, which is a very, very stupidly expensive way to get a hold of something, one kit via EMS. So this is basically a $55 Skyline kit instead of a $25 Skyline kit. That's, fantastic. I'm trying to figure out why my angle's down, but I see that this, that part of the tripod is leaning. There we go. It's a little bit better. So anyway, this is the newly reissued version of the new Tool 25 GT Skyline, the R34 Modo, as we call it, the Mordor. And this has a new front fascia piece. Basically, everything from the headlights down is new. So it's a new front grille, new front bumper. The wheels are new. The wing is new. There's a new exhaust pipe in the back. There's new clear pieces for the turn signals and stuff like that. There's about 3 or 4 sprues, very small pieces, that are actually new to this kit. So it's there. A little bit of the built model action on the side here. It's going to be a little bit blurry because it wants to tell you all about the Camaro and Mustangs I have behind it, but let's go close. There we go. You have to adjust as to what it looks like. There we go. Go the right way with it. So that will be that. This does have the same sort of construction as the kit that came in the blue box. So the whole front clip is completely different, completely separate, and then you sort of assemble it together. So it'll be very interesting to see how this is going to fit. There have been some fit issue reports with the original kit. The GTX here, this is the most luxurious version of the way this car came. It was so, I think there's a couple little decals in the interior for that, because there was a trip computer and things like that in that. It did not come in the original 25 GT, which was more of a sport version. Now that is still the fastest, or the sportiest version that came in 1998, but I'm trying to open this and talk at the same time. It's not working out very well for anybody. It was also a luxury model, similar to the Type, what is it? The Type M, I think it is. R34. There was a luxurious version of the R34 GTR. So in this box down here, the actual HLJ box, we picked this up. This is the new, well, not new. That's actually quite a few months old at this point. This is the Modelers 2017 Nissan GTR Nismo resin kit. We kind of hoped that eventually we were going to get a 2017 GTR out of Aoshima. We sort of have via the Liberty Walk kits, but they haven't put it into a streetcar kit yet. So this is what you get in the contents. The box here is a little bit different than the old boxes. You guys have been watching these shows for a while. You remember that all of this stuff will be in individual little compartments rather than being in little sort of paper plastic bags. But it is organized pretty much by what you need it to. So this is interior pieces. This is mostly wings and stuff like that out there, but it does have the door panels because the door panels go on the inside of the body rather than building up off of the interior. And then your little bits up here at the top for your exhaust and your mirror, your rear view mirror, your side view mirrors, and stuff like that, and then the wheels and the tires. One thing I did notice about this, and the brakes are sort of packaged in here with the tires, I don't know how well that I come across, but they're there, is that these wheels are just ever so slightly smaller in diameter than the actual tire is. I also get annoyed when they put these tires in here and they don't color them black. Like some of their tires are colored black, some of them aren't, and the color of black they use on these ends up looking pretty decent, like to the point where I really wouldn't screw with it too much. Um, it just one less thing to do, really. The body, chassis, interior, everything like that looks pretty decent on this. I fitted a few pieces together. I'm not gonna take this all apart right now. I fitted a few pieces together, and like the light insert and the clear resin piece that goes over the headlight all fit perfectly well. This kit does have a little bit of photo etch for brake faces, grills, and logos and stuff like that, plus the little epoxy colored ones for the side marker lights. Also has, the glass for these is sort of a flat plastic sheet that has the window black already pre-colored on them. So I mean, they are, to me, I mean, your mileage may vary as to what you think these are really worth, but to me, it's worth $75 for these, and that's what these run for what you get for it, as well as the fact that, like I said, it is multimedia. It's not just resin. So let's take a look at the kits here. Brand new kit that just came out here recently, and that is the Hasegawa Toyota Starlet. So this, of course, is brand new tool for 2019, the Shizuoka Show tool, as it were. This was originally supposed to come out earlier in the year, but hey, it came out finally. One thing we did notice about this is there are a few clear pieces on the tree that you do not use, and this hood scoop is not physically attached to this hood. You have to drill the hood out and then put the hood scoop on, so that clearly, if you couldn't figure out that Hasegawa makes a whole bunch of everything every time they make a new tool anyway, that'll tell you there's obviously new stuff coming, because there's a different set of parking, turn signals for a bumper. This not attaching to the hood means that we can recycle this hood without the little intercooler thing. And then there's a little look at the built model there, which I think I might have shown you guys on the regular stash report videos. And then next up we have the next race car kit from Hasegawa for the JTCC series. So you know I'm all over that. This is the Diesel Kiki Nissan Skyline R31. Pretty easy build on this one in terms of painting it. You don't have to paint it Calisthenic blue like that one, or paint the red and white two-tone like the Rico one. This is just white. All of these stripes are taken care of by decals. They do give you a couple of different decal configurations in here. You have this race that is being shown here, which I believe was a either Sendai or Fuji, and then there is the configuration for the Intertech race at the end of the year. So a couple different ways you can build this. As far as the only real difference between these is there's an extra driver for the endurance race, and then this, I believe this back here changes to a Diesel Kiki logo rather than the Japanese version of it. So it'll actually say Diesel Kiki like this instead of it being in Japanese. So yeah, it's you guys have seen one of these R31s at this point. You've seen them all as far as what they look like, what they content. There's no new parts with this at all. It is just decals. These Pana Sports came in the Rico one when they were new in that, so they're just a carryover. So that's in. And then we have one more Hasegawa kit. I'm just going to do this in that order. We have this, which is the newly modified Datsun 240Z. So this is, of course, the left-hand drive one. All right. So if you finally get a good quality 240Z American spec. So a bunch of the parts that are in this were new to the 1974 Monte Carlo rally version that they put out at the end of last year. There's not a whole heck of a lot of new parts specifically to this kit. The new parts to this kit would be bumper cover, bumperettes, bumper guards, whatever you want to call these things, for the front and the rear, the side marker lights, front and back, a driver's side mirror, because remember, this is a point in time in life where there isn't two mirrors on the vehicle. So this kit, as it comes normally, is a right-hand drive Japanese spec car, so the mirror was for that side. So a new left-hand drive mirror, and that's pretty much it. It's probably about 10 or 15 pieces that are specific to the street version of this. There's probably another 10 or 15 pieces that are specific to the left-hand drive version of this, but again, those were already tooled up for the rally version. This is just putting them basically into the street car version. So there you have. This is a North American spec, not just a global export spec, but a North American spec, specifically Datsun 240Z. So if you wanted them to, do something like this, which was put a left-hand drive, conversion into their older, not so much older, this came out in the 2000s, but their older kits there were cars, things like the Celica and whatnot that were exported to the United States, go buy this. Show the support for it, and, we'll see what happens in terms of getting more. Next up in here, the kit that was just released right before I shipped this, actually, and that is this. This is the Leon Svestos AMG, the Super GT 300 championship car. Great livery. The only new thing about this kit are these wheels. These wheels are specific to the Super GT guys, and so these wheels, that's it. Now, there is another part of the sprue, because when they tooled these wheels, like I said, it's a mirror image sprue. We showed you that way back in the AMG review, which isn't its own video, so you can't go look for it really easily. But the way this sprue is constructed, it has all the stuff, and then off to the one side where the wheels, the headlight backs, and one other piece that I cannot think of off the top of my head. And I said at the time, if you look at it, was an identical spot. Well, that really makes my white balance go crazy. I'll stop doing that. But there was an identical divot on this end where another set of these were tooled, so they could gate off this side and have this side shoot plastic, and what's on that side are headlight backs, these wheels, and whatever the heck the other part is, and I cannot for the life of me think of it, and I'm not going to dig it out. But anyway, this has some carbon fiber pieces. This whole front lip is carbon fiber. These winglets are carbon fiber. The rear wing is carbon fiber as far as the kit decals go. And then you have this overall livery. It looks very, very complicated, but they broke the decals down in what, to me, makes a really, logical way. The one thing I will tell you, you guys who have these know, fitting this rear wing in and working it into the bodywork, this is a separate piece that fits from underneath in the model itself. You get for edification purposes, you get this right here, and then the piece comes up into this hole. So you have to work that into the bodywork to make it integrated, because it's not a separate piece on the real car. But obviously on this one, a little bit more necessary than with some others, because of the way this watch band goes across the top of it. If you don't fill that in, aside from the fact that it's going to fit ridiculously, it's also going to look bad. So something to keep in mind for that. And you have your normal box sides and whatnot. So this is a Super GT licensed vehicle, as well as a licensed Daimler Chrysler vehicle. So that is why this kit, by the way, is more expensive. You see here, it's a 4,800 yen end cap price rather than a 3,400 yen end cap price for the regular AMG kit. So keep that in mind. It is going to run you $4 or $5 more. It is a somewhat limited edition. It's not limited, nearly as limited as the 787B was, which is, hey, we sold out of them in Japan. We have no more, and no one anywhere in the world is going to get in them. But it is, it was a larger run, but it's still probably going to be a one and done run as far as that goes, just because of the licensing costs. And then we have this, which is a kit. Came out a little while ago that I was meaning to get at the time, but finances, blah, blah, blah. I got a 10% off coupon from HobbyLink Japan for shipping stuff in May. It was funny, but it had to be on in-stock items. So what I got with that was this and that GTR resin kit. Two very expensive model kits that, knocking about 15 bucks off of, made it a little more palatable. So this is a retool version of the Citroen DS19. There's a whole bunch of new stuff to this. Really a lot more comprehensive than you think. It's not just, oh, hey, they threw a new headlight cover on it. There's actually a whole new front it's probably not a whole new body, but it definitely has a new front piece to the molding tool, because on the DS19, you'll recall, these are single headlights, and they're integrated into the fenders. Let me go behind me here to sort of give you the idea. So this is your DS19 front end. You notice there's also no trim on the side. And then you have your DS21 with your integrated headlights. There's a trim going down the side. Now this trim is a separate piece, but it's not in this kit at all. And then there's a few other differences here and there. This car, you notice, has no rear view mirrors at all. This one has an outside rear view mirror. And I'd also be able to say the grills. I don't know if there's any way to put these two. There we go. That's perfect. There we go. Now they're sort of in the same shot together. I need to move this one this way.
So yeah, you see there's a different front grill area, different front bumper area, really different under wrap, if you will, for the front bumper area there. There's a whole bunch of different parts to this one. It's not, like I said, it's not just a quick and dirty. It's a whole new front piece to the thing. I think the hood might still be the same, although it might be a little bit longer. But obviously, these turn signals are a different place. Anyway, like I said, I'm not going to get into it. Maybe I'll do, if anybody really, really, really wants me to, I'll do a kit review of both of them and sort of do a comparison. And, I don't do that many kit reviews in the first place because I talk too much and it'll take forever. But if anybody's really that interested about it, I will. Yeah, here's some built-ups. It is a full detail kit. Does have an engine and stuff like that. Now, this is an 8,800 yen kit. It is 80, well, with exchange rate, $82. I think I paid $78 for it from Hobby Link Japan. Doors do open. It is very, very, very detailed, very, very Tamiya-esque, because the guy who runs Ebro was the former chief engineer of their F1 kit program. But yeah, I know it's not a price that's going to scare a lot of people, and it's not a subject matter that's going to make everybody dance. But see, that's sort of the thing. If you want something like this, hey, it's going to cost a little bit because they're not going to sell a whole heck of a lot of them. And so the less for something you sell, the more each individual unit has to cost. It's just sort of the way the world works. And the last thing in this video, guys, will be this. It is the recently released and also a brand new tool, Mitsubishi Lancer Evo. A little bit before the Evo. Mitsubishi Lancer Turbo is what I meant to say. This is in the 1984 Royal Auto Club Rally version, the Rack Rally. I still didn't look up. I meant to before, but I didn't. What numbers finished where, because one of these cars finished first in class, one of these finished second in class, and then the other one didn't finish. And the class has a lot to do with like this A plus B thing that's on here. There's like a class A, and then there's a class AB, and the class AB one won its class, which is this kit. This is the class winning car on the box. And then I don't know if they show any of the other ones on the box. No, it doesn't look like it. I'm going to have to pull some instructions to show you guys. I mean, the kits, the decals in effect are identical to one another. There's only really a few things. I hope I get a color sheet with this. So, I mean, they're all like this. It's just what number you want to do. So up here you see there's like the number 116, the number 102, the number 96, and then the corresponding colors of the decals tell you which one to put on for which thing. So basically you're just changing out your driver names. There are some things that are on one car but not the other. There's, the driver names are obviously different. Some of these associate sponsorships are a little bit different, but all in all, you get the general gist. Let's see if I can pull the decals out here. Here we go. So this is what your decals look like. You're getting basically the Advan triangle for the hood and then around the windows, and then you have to two-tone the rest of it. I'm not sure how the drivers' names are going to show up there. Not real particularly well, so I'm not going to take these out because it will be too much rattling noises as we take out their, press and stick bags. Throw the body out there for you guys. So, yeah, it's a cool little subject matter, cool little car. Be interesting to see what else. Well, I know what the other thing is for this, but it'll be interesting to see if they offer a tarmac suspension version of this as well, or this is going to be, it as far as that goes. Because, like I said, there is a touring car version of this car that exists. So I'm expecting that might be what the other thing will be out of this. We'll see. Like, there's no definitive, like, oh, the next thing is going to be but I do know that there is a touring car version of this car in real life. It raced in Macau and a few other places, so that may be a possibility. And then all of the rally cars seem to have had a gravel suspension and a tarmac suspension setup, so we'll see what ends up coming out with that. And then, of course, I got the detail upset for it, which is a little more, mundane on a 1980s car than it would be on some of the supercars and things like that. So you have a metal antenna going on in here. You have your seatbelt material, and then you have your actual photo etch. I think I mentioned this in the last one of the videos I did for this kit when it was released. Is this may be one of the more you could take it or leave it style detail upsets, because really the only thing you're gonna do here, as far as, let me tap this to get this up a little bit, you're gonna get here as far as, oh hey, that's gonna replace something that looks bad, is like this little piece right here, this photo etch. This replaces the mesh in this little intake down here, and in the kit, if you don't have the photo etch, you're doing that screen door mesh with it. So this will infinitely look better than screen door mesh. Now these meshes right here are for each side of the radiator, which you pretty much can see through the grill area, but the kit material, this material, it's kind of iffy. You have there's a license plate back for the front, and then you have the rally number backs, and then a bunch of this other stuff like these footwells and stuff. They're in there in plastic. You don't necessarily have to have these. So it's sort of, let's see, what are these? This is an $18 photo etch set. So is it worth it? I don't know. I think for the antenna and the seatbelt material, depends on whether or not you want to make the seatbelt material. You just want to use the seatbelts and the decal. So it really does come up to you as to what all you're going to do with that. There are somewhere, I think it's behind the photo etch, little Saybelt decal things as well. But anyway, I leave that one up to you as to determining the worth, quote unquote, of that photo etch. So anyway, guys, that is it for this one. Hope you enjoyed it, and we'll see you guys on the other side.